It's just my phone. I didn't even
Yeah, I
clean
should
it.
have.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
All right, so welcome to another FOGCAST. It's Avery Carlton Fields, aka the Cinematic Noob, and I am here with Miss Anastasia Chernaya, a very good friend of mine from Los Angeles, who I met when I was casting for my web series many years ago, and unfortunately it didn't work out. We're going to make our way back to it at some point, but we have bonded since and created a very solid working relationship and friendship since then. She is a very special person, and I look forward to many endeavors with her in the future. So having said that, I'm going to start by allowing her to tell you all a little bit about what she does or just who she is, and we will go from there. So
It's a vibe, yo. Well, hi everybody. My name is Anastasia Chernaya. I am kind of a person who can't sit on her butt still. So I am all over the place. I am a union actor, I am a filmmaker, and I'm an indie filmmaker, and I am a podcaster myself, and I am a little bit of a crazy person who just likes to get some adrenaline whenever she can. Yeah, I went off-roading this week. That was awesome.
Oh.
I didn't tell you, huh? Yeah.
Oh.
That's my latest obsession.
It's
I
mine
brought
too,
my
without
dad.
having been able to do it.
What was that? Sorry.
It's mine too, without having been able to do it, but that's...
Well, listen, next time you're in LA, we're just gonna swoop you and we're gonna go. Can you imagine, there's like an actual park. It's like a state park that it's a huge territory, and there's tons of trails for cars and motorcycles and like all of those OHV like carts and stuff like that too. And there's like what was pretty cool is that every trail is marked with a color, just like the skiing and snowboarding trails.
It has to be, otherwise there's going to be a bunch of accidents.
Yeah, that was a whole new kind of thing that I just discovered.
On the sides of the roads, kind of, or just like the tall ones sticking out for like yard markers or something.
I mean, there's just like trail markers. Whenever like you come to an intersection of trails, it does show like the name and like it has a color, and it also shows like a vehicle type that you can drive, because some of them are just for motorcycles, and some are for cars. So yeah, but it's super exciting.
Cones, like not cones, but the little flags set up to like keep people from like going off of the trail or moving on to another track or something. Okay, never mind.
I mean, there's like a fence sort of in some spots, but sometimes you get up the hill and then you have no idea what's out there. There can be like a ditch or just like a cliff or something, you would know.
If you're off-roading, you're going to be taking a risk either way, so I'm sure.
I love it. That's why I do it.
Oh, the thrill. Oh my God.
Okay, you gotta come. Now, the fact that I ended up with a all-wheel drive vehicle just makes sense, because I was meant to do this.
I'm saying the tractor, right?
Yeah, utility tractor.
Utility.
Okay, guys. So this is like, let me tell you, this is like a running joke, sort of. My car got totaled. The little Corolla hybrid that I had got totaled in the beginning of this year, January 2023. And then I was like, well, this is time I get an electric vehicle. And I started shopping around, and then I ended up buying one for pretty much my birthday. And then because electric vehicles come with some kind of a rebate, but you have to like register and do the whole thing. So I was researching the federal rebate, which I didn't qualify for because it wasn't assembled in the States, but that's fine. But whenever I was doing the research, it showed me the body type. Like it just said, I got a Toyota BZ4X, but then it was made in collaboration with Subaru. And then the document said Subaru, and I was like, Solterra. And I'm like, this is weird. This is not what's written on my car. But I was like, okay. And then next to it, was UT, abbreviation UT for the body type. And I was like, what the heck is that? So I started doing the research, and apparently UT is a utility tractor. So I have a pretty fancy utility tractor, which just is so natural for me to have, I guess, if I'm going off-roading and stuff.
And just a very fitting vehicle for you in general.
Oh, thank you.
The more I thought about it after you told me the name of the car or what type
Mhm,
of car it was, I was like,
mhm.
tractor. That sounded funny. But then when you really look at it long enough, it does kind of have this interesting tank build to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of bizarre. But how does it handle? How does it handle? Because it seemed like such a like kind of smooth,
Yeah.
like
It
family vehicle kind of ride, but
I mean, yeah, kind of, but it just felt like the car was super happy to be there. Let's just put it that way. It
appropriate.
was floating. It was like easily getting on everything. I guess the fact that it's electric, it gave it an extra push because it's like over 200 horsepower, but it's very powerful. And it had no problem getting on anything. But I expected a little bit more of an adventure out of that. But I was with my dad, and I didn't want to like stress him out with my craziness. I was like giving it a like little, I was feeding him like
First,
little bit of, yeah. Cause he's a senior. He's like,
exactly.
like I don't want his blood pressure to go up. So it's like,
Absolutely. Take it easy with that one. And then
yeah.
eventually you get some passengers in there where you can wild out a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm planning to go back in a couple of weeks whenever I have a chance and just get on the black trails. Because the blue were kind of, a little bit more decent, but I need me more adrenaline.
Adrenaline rush. Yeah. And now that I have this truck, I'm like, I got this truck right after I left California, and
Yeah.
there's nothing I can really do with it out here. It's just
Why?
environment. Well, I mean, there's camping trails and stuff like that out here, but not
Yeah.
it is in California. Like every time I look at that truck, I'm just like, you were made for the roads of California, and I'm
Aw.
3,000 miles away. But that's all right. I'll be back out there eventually to
We're waiting. Hollywood is waiting.
over there. So, okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit more like tell us about some things you've worked on in the past as an actress and or as an actor and as a filmmaker.
Right. Well, actually, it's funny that you said that we met when you were casting for a project. I can't remember that part.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember for me, the friendship with you kind of started with Good Years, my project that I'm working on right now, that we're working on together. I kind of that's kind of like the start point for me. But my memory is funny.
That's definitely when the bond took to the next level for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I remember perfectly how you just showed up and you're like, I'm here to help. And I was like, what? Do people actually do that? I'm like, yeah, my faith in humanity was restored there for a second. Um, yeah, and this is actually a fun thing that you mentioned about your web series, right? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna go back because it was such a long time ago. Well, the funny thing is that I guess time is a construct because this project, The Good Years, the film that we're working on right now, that's about what, 90% done, I want to say.
I'd say it's like 95%.
Yeah, probably. Very, very close to being done. Well, that has taken us 4.5 years to get to this point. And everything that could have gone wrong actually did go wrong with this project, and that's okay. I mean, it took me as a filmmaker, it took a lot of my own personal hits onto my own personal ego to actually get over the fact that I felt like a failure for the past 4 years. With everything, I know it happens, but like with everything that went wrong with this project and that it never got completed, with every single passing day, I was like, oh fuck, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
that's allowed here.
amazing. Perfect. Amazing. So yeah, I felt like, I felt personally responsible for not completing it. And then I felt like everything that I did wrong. And it took me some time and a lot of therapy, not specifically for this reason, but like therapy in general, to understand that, hey, like everything happens for a reason, and then whatever, like it's gonna happen whenever it's meant to, and also that I need to lean into the things that scare me, like finishing this project. It scares the heck out of me. Michelle and I, my partner, who we wrote and co-created this film together, we met up about 2 months ago, and we were like, hey, listen, we've got this project that we never completed. Should we just maybe like get back to it and actually do it? And I told her, I'm like, listen, I really want to do it, but I'm freaking out. I'm scared. That is me jumping off a cliff over here, off the deep end, that is me. But this time around, with a couple of attempts that I actually had to complete it over the past couple of years, this time around, I am leaning and actually going into the things that scare me. That's what's different this time around. And like, I'm freaking out and I'm honest about that. And this is really scary. But I'm still going into it.
Right. That's okay. It's okay to be nervous or scared of the next process. And
exactly.
I can vouch for the fact that even before you say that this is, even though you say this is something that's kind of new, you've always toyed with the idea, and I've always seen you want to head in that direction. But like everyone else, myself included, we have those blocks that just us from doing what we need to do in that moment, and that's okay. We have to have growth and get to that point. But I was trying to push this for years before we got to this point. I said, we need to finish good years. We need to finish good years because you all have such an amazing project on your hands. But I knew that when the time was right, it was going to come to fruition. And here we are. We're on the doorstep.
Yeah, right now it actually does feel right, because I personally feel the power to pull things together to actually make it happen. I guess I didn't have enough, belief in my own self back then. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to get it done, and I didn't know how to ask people for help. Even though such an amazing team of people actually went together to get it done, to me it felt like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not like getting enough people together to actually complete it, or whatever the case is. Like, I could have done better. In any case, there was a lot of judgment. There was a lot of things that I wanted to go through. And funny enough, this whole process with me, learning how to be a filmmaker, and don't get me wrong, I am like a baby when it comes to it. Like, this is my first project that I'm actually doing. Huh?
I was just saying that you wouldn't be able to tell, though. Anyone meeting you for the first time would not be able to tell how new you are to the process.
I know. I kind of, especially now, I'm very, very confident in where I'm going, and in the fact that I guess maybe, you know what? The fact that I admit now that I don't know everything, that sort of is a power in and of itself, because you're not trying to put up this idea of you knowing everything and doing everything, but instead you're like, okay, I don't know how to do this. Who can help me figure it out? And who can help me actually do it, and who I can bring to learn and grow and then get something actually done.
Right.
And I feel like, this is like a deeper thought on that, which I have been thinking about a lot in the past couple of months. We come here, like, to this planet, we come here to experience this material life. We come here to experience the emotions and everything that comes with it. But we all have different paths that we take that teach us how to, kind of get back to our own selves, get back to our emotions, get back to our like personalities, in a greater scheme of things. And definitely, me going through my acting journey and me going like through this also, filmmaking journey and producing journey, I have been learning so much about myself and what kind of a person I am truly, aside from everything that has been sort of put on me by like my parents, by society, by the different society that I grew up in, all of that kind of affected everything, and it does affect all of us. And I am just so excited about sort of peeling these layers of an onion that have surrounded me, from all around me. And
Absolutely.
I'm like, with every single day and every little obstacle I get through, I'm like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to release that. And this is actually me. And this is actually what I do. And it is actually okay to not know how to do everything.
Yes. Yes.
But for you to get your project done, you don't have to know everything.
Oh,
That's
you
the
don't.
thing.
You just have to be resourceful. You just have to know
Exactly. Actually, I started taking this indie producer filmmaker course. Just started like a week ago, and that's one of the things that Elad Tier, she's a creator of it. That's what she talks about. Producer is a person who's actually resourceful. Producer is a person who knows how to build connections and how to bring people together at the right time. And I'm like sitting there listening. I'm like, I feel like I actually have that in me.
That is definitely you. No, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I'm excited. And then again, society and everything has been like sort of placing these like ideas about who I am, like trying to tell me that, no, I'm not that kind of person. No, I won't be able to do that because, well, this, that, and that, and you're an immigrant and you're English and then this and that,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no. I actually have that in me. And this is just me on this journey discovering the fact that I have all that shit in me. Does it make sense?
It does make sense. And I was going to say from the beginning, the point you made about us being here on this planet, it's very well said. And it's something that I've actually reflected on a lot in the last year myself. You know that I've had to come back to situations that I didn't necessarily come back to, having to leave California and start over like the third time. And you saying that really kind of leveled the idea in my head that things do happen for a reason, even if it's like some big grand plan. They're happening in a way that is going to allow you to learn something new and gravitate towards what you want to do. So
exactly,
I think that was very well said. And I mean, I've watched, kind of from a distance, you do these gradual changes over the last few years and see where it's taking you. But to hear you kind of lay it out that way really brings it home as to what you were dealing with and what you've been experiencing. I am very curious about like what the aha moment was when you reached out and you decided, hey Avery, what's the deal with Good Years, like a couple of weeks ago. I do want to know what the aha moment was. You said you sat down and talked with Michelle, but before you spoke with Michelle, like what went off that, or what happened? What event led to you saying, I need to talk to Michelle, or we need to do this right now?
Well, one, throughout these 4.5 years since we actually started this project, well, it's almost like 5 years.
Like 6 almost.
No. It's close to 5 years because we shot it on my 30th birthday. That's when we shot it. And then we didn't take too long to actually prepare for it. It was like 2 weeks or so, since we like got the idea. And I was like, Michelle, hey, like I have this wish for my 30th birthday. I want to spend it on set doing what I love. Yeah. And that was almost 5 years ago. I'm going to be turning 35 in a couple of months. And since the moment that we started it, or the moment that we sort of shot everything and then things started kind of going wrong and like falling apart, I spent every single day thinking about the project. Every single day. And this year, I sort of got tired of chatter in my head, the judgment in my head that I'm not, completing it, that I'm not finishing things that I started. And it wasn't just one aha moment that kind of led to it, but it was the work that I've been putting in my personal development, in me, in my growth journey, that sort of led to it. Because this year, with a very difficult things that I went through this year in the relationship that I was in, I realized, like, my eyes got open to the fact that there's a lot of things that I'm not completing that are making me like a very difficult person to deal with in certain, parts of my life. And because they're like they're just weighing on me, and that's not just the project, it's the things around the house. It's certain career things or relationships, things that I'm just not completing, so I had this tendency to start everything but not completing anything. That's the whole point, so in the search of figuring out how to beat procrastination, because it also, procrastination got to a very, really bad point. It was one of the things why the relationship actually went south, with my ex. That was it, that was part of that. That was my procrastination, me not completing things. And aside from everything else, that was a whole different podcast.
I mean, but we want to get into it.
No, we're not this time. I'm open to talk about that, but not
But
this
not
is
here.
not
Not now.
not right now. But in any case, like, me going through that whole figuring out how to like beat my procrastination, let's put it just in those words, like, because that kind of wraps up everything. My therapist, I actually asked my therapist, I'm like, how do you like beat procrastination? Maybe that was part of the aha moment. She's like, you just go and do shit. And I'm like, what?
That is kind of true.
That's it? Like, there's no secret.
Get out there and do shit.
Yeah,
that does make perfect sense.
Yeah. And like, this is just so, I mean, that's just, so I guess sometimes we need to hear something super simple from somebody else, especially if you pay the money to the person. You're like, yeah, I better listen to that,
You pay the money to the person. They better be telling you what you need to hear.
Yeah, exactly. And I better be taking this advice, because like, I paid her for it. So yeah, I just started clearing everything out. I'm still like, I mean, I've got like boxes behind me of stuff that's just been sitting there for like 2 weeks, and I'm trying to like find a space for it, but like, it's a process.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But now that I like have actually things that I complete, I am feeling much better. I am feeling more capable of completing other things that have been sitting on the back burner like good years,
And that is the vibe I've been getting ever since a couple of weeks ago. And I love that it's come full circle. I really, for those who don't know, I am an editor on the project. Started as an editor, kind of went into a videography for a second, but then shit went south. And now I'm just kind of an editor again. But it's been a joy to be on this project.
Aw.
The
It's been a joy to have you.
Oh well, I feel that and I love it, but it's just this is what I've been waiting to hear is this mental journey that's gotten me to
Oh,
this point because I know it's been a long one, and
yeah.
I I only wish that I could at some point hear what Michelle was thinking as well during this process. It'd be just a complete package, but um, I do want to know, like, as far as completing the project goes, when we move forward, what do you hope to see in terms of a return for Good Years?
I mean, well, the plan with it is to complete it and send it to festivals.
Right.
That has always been the plan, I wasn't necessarily thinking too far ahead, but this time around I started thinking about, okay, well, we're gonna send it to festivals. It's gonna do really well because we have seen what Avery has been able to put together with, with everything that went wrong. Like we had footage missing. I started with me dropping my laptop where we had, do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, it started with me dropping the laptop and then crashing it completely, and then the hard drive on it went. It was done. It was done with me, and then we had everything on it, and then couldn't really recover much. But I forgot the question. Oh, where we're going taking it? Yeah. Um, that's still, that's still a bit of a trauma trigger for me like dropping that laptop. Like it's just it's
Yeah, big
unbelievable.
one.
Huh?
That's a huge one to drop the
I
equipment
mean, yeah.
you pay hundreds of
Yeah.
dollars for that's responsible for
Yeah.
getting the project completed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very I felt really bad. But right now, this time around, I'm like thinking big picture, because like festivals is sort of small picture. I
Mhm.
want to say, because it's usually people just send it out there, right? And they're like hoping that they will get something, some kind of awards or whatever, and then they will get themselves out there, and then maybe somebody sees them, maybe somebody wants to do something. But what I'm understanding this time around is that I don't just want to limit myself or wait for somebody else to come and like offer me a deal or something. What I want to do is I want to tell stories, and I want people to see this, because this is art.
It is.
This is a difficult art, and this is a huge process, and I want people to sort of learn, not only that, listen, there's people who come together and they make this film and then we watch it as audience members and that's it. Well, it's that's not how it is, because there's so much more at play. There's so much that happens behind the scenes in the process, in this long process of creating a movie, that I would like for people to know. Because me, somebody who is just, I'm not only a filmmaker, I also watch movies and I also watch shows. I've always been fascinated with the little pieces of like BTS stuff that they would put out there, which there wasn't a lot. I was actually talking to a friend of mine. I'm a recurring character in his show, Superficially Deep, on HPTV. People, it's available on Roku, Amazon Fire, like all of that. There's an app called HPTV. You can actually watch it there, and it's free right now.
Something. I'll put it in
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I can actually, yeah, I'll get you the link so you can put in there. So the friend of mine, we kind of became friends over the years, because I've been in his show for a few years now, and we were talking about that too. And he was telling me that we had a difficult moment with that show, where something happened with the audio, and then we had to do the voiceover for the whole thing, for the whole scene. And he was telling me about like how he had to get creative and learn how to do the whole folio thing for that. And then I was like, huh?
Oh, what thing? Sorry, I just wanted to make
Is
sure.
it folio? Is that what it's called?
Foley,
Whenever like,
Foley art.
yeah,
Foley.
folio.
Foley, yeah.
Folio. Okay, well, I'm foreign.
I
For this, I don't know.
make sure.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what would be so cool if you actually put together this little kind of like a video that showcases of what, the scene was originally to what it ended up being, so that people can see the process and how much effort actually goes into it, you know?
Layering
So,
and mixing the audio afterwards.
right, because there's so much, and that's interesting, that's a very cool thing to do, because you're like take something, it's like you take a piece of clay and then you make a pot out of it, but there's a process. Yeah, sure, that's how pots are made. Sure, Avery. Yeah,
I thought you
that's
were about to
about.
go Foley. I'm sorry, I went in the wrong direction. Yeah, you know how you make pots,
Right, that's how we make pots. Yes. Um so I'm thinking big picture, and I'm thinking actually that well, we do have a deal with him that we're gonna put that movie Good Years, once it's done with the festival circuit, we're gonna put it up onto the HBTV platform so that people can actually see it,
Nice.
so that it's not just something that we made for us to get something out of it. No, we made it for people to see it.
Absolutely. And
you know
it is a film that it's not often that I see indie film. I mean, I love indie films regardless, and I will support them to the end, but it's not often that I see indie films where I'm like, okay, definitely people need to see it. It's something that is relevant. It's something that is important for human relations, and I think that it's
yeah.
good that you already have a platform for it. That's so.
Yeah.
I did not know that, but I'm excited for you. If that's
Again, this is just, sort of putting together all the resources that I have, which turns out I have a lot of them, even though these past like 7 years, I thought that I didn't have any resources, I didn't have anybody, but then it turns out I have all these amazing people who surround me. And then even right now, us going back to reshoots for Good Years, I like reach out to somebody, and I'm like, I reached out to my friend Rima. I also was in her film, and I reached out to her. She's a DP, and I was like, hey, listen, I have this project, and I told her about it, and she's like, oh my God, I've been waiting for an opportunity to work with you. And every time I reach out to somebody, people say this is so humbling. I'm like, I have a support system, and me going about for 4 years thinking that I don't have anybody but myself is just so silly, and it just shows how limited we are as human beings in thinking.
not silly, just human.
Yeah,
Just
but we all have our support systems,
that is
you
true.
know?
That is very true. I'm very guilty of it myself.
I've been telling you for years, Avery, you don't have to do it all alone.
I don't have to do it. I don't know. Out here, I'm starting to think I have to do it all alone.
No, even there, everywhere you have people.
Sure, I'm sure if I look hard enough, but I am at a point where I'm like, oh my goodness, if I had the thought process that I have, if I knew what I know now back when I was in LA, I'd be killing it now. I'd be all over the place. And I'm like, part of me almost wants to just say, let me take a risk one more time with the few dollars I have and just try LA with this energy. But I'm like, no, I can't do that yet. Let me see what Atlanta has. Let me try and explore and see what I can get going. But bringing it back to the original point, yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah.
what?
Sorry, I was gonna say, like, you also have to understand that you're there for a reason. We've talked about this before, you were taken there on your life journey for a reason. There's something for you there, whether it's just sitting through a little bit of this uncertainty and the change of sin. Oh, I get goosebumps. What? Like, imagine just, sitting through this change of, the things in the industry, in the scene that we're sort of experiencing, because I am very much convinced that right now with the strike, which is finally over, but with all of that, we are seeing the rise of indie filmmakers.
I have noticed that, and I do think that it is a second opportunity for that to grand appearance, and especially with like it's unfortunate. Okay, so it is unfortunate that there is this backlash against the MCU right now.
What's MCU?
The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh.
Because of the movie that just came out, The Marvels, which I think is really ridiculous that there are so many people who are hating on the film just because it is a predominantly female cast. I don't think I don't know if people claim that's not the real reason, but I know it is.
Let me tell you about people
who just want to be angry about the fact that, but having said that, I have noticed a significant like retraction in this desire to be, subjected to more typical Hollywood films. It's like, all right, we got it. And then A24 has been putting out this really unique stuff lately, and other Neon and all these other more indie production companies have been putting out stuff that reminded people that there's like real art out there. Like there's real cool stuff out there that we're ignoring because of green screen films. And it's like maybe this trifecta of experiences with the strike ending, or with the strike going on, is going to bring back some real indie filmmaking and some opportunities for indie filmmakers to make an appearance on the scene. Naturally, I want to be one of them, but I'm like, at the end of the day, it's not even really about that. I just want to see other indie filmmakers win for once.
Yeah.
Instead of like this money going towards these projects that like are just regurgitated BS, So,
well, here's the thing, like it's indie filmmaking is not about expecting somebody else to come and actually give you the money and resources so that you can actually create your piece of art. It's not about that, because when they do come with their money, they will change the project. They might even take it from you. So it's not going to be the original thing that you actually want to make. This is not that different that people have been longing for, because like you said, there's like a lot of those green screen type of movies, and they're all pretty much the same. Like I wasn't sure. I mean, I've never heard of what you were talking about, Marvel and the whole thing. I'm not in that zone. I don't watch those Marvel.
No, I haven't heard of them though.
No, I haven't heard about that, because I'm not, well, one, I'm super busy. Like I don't concern myself with like drama anymore, especially, and this is why I got so like, that just hits so close home, because that's what happened with my last commercial that I was in.
Oh, yes.
Miller Lite commercial.
We'll add a description and possibly put a clip in this video.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be great, because it's not out there, but I have it. If you need it, I have it, because Miller Lite actually took it down because of the backlash that they were receiving.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, people like, what did people get upset about? I still, to the day, with like the videos that you sent me and me doing my own research and like, watching the Fox News and stuff. Well, I mean, at least I've been on Fox News, so that's, I guess, nice.
Oh, really?
But I'm like, I'm not sure, what are people so upset about? It's just, again, but it's like women, and it talked about women.
Change. They're threatened by change. The same. I promise we won't get political in this podcast. We can save another one for that. But I promise you, the same people who had a problem with Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney having the Bud Light can sent to her door with her face on it are the same people who have a problem with, "Hi, Mars."
He's just like tiptoeing around me, and he's like, "Mama, what's going on?"
But they're the same people who have a problem with you being in that commercial and who have a
Yeah.
problem with Brie Larson being the star of a Marvel film twice. Like it's undoubtedly just a group of people who just are threatened by change in America. And
You put it perfectly.
I combat every chance I get, and I think it's silly, but it's a real thing. And like I said, I won't get political, but that has in a lot of ways affected your career to an extent, and that's problematic. If you're not getting your money because of that, then what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, but that's exactly where you need to rise up and you need to do your own thing, because this is actually like a very deeper and much extensive topic, because it's, on the surface level, there's all these like difficulties that can come in creating your own thing and in creating your own destiny. But then also there's like, the surface level stuff that we see, like not being able to raise money, or having a backlash from people who have no business backlashing at you. But that's just surface level, because underneath all of that, there's like issues that are way deeper rooted than you might think. For instance, when it comes to money, which is also such a huge topic for so many people, and it was for me as well. I had my own limited beliefs about money. And it was one of those blocks that prevented me from actually getting anywhere or doing anything with my life and being able to actually pursue what I want to pursue, until the point where I was like, well, I actually sabotaged one project, or my participation in it a year ago. Should we talk about that?
This is please.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't tell you, huh? Well, so last May, I received an audition, and instead of it came from my agent, and it was for a commercial. It was mattress firm commercial. And then instead of putting it off to the next day, I was like, I'll just do it right now. I'll just take it from where I am and I'll do it right now, which was off to me because I just had a fight with my ex, and I was like, my eyes were teary and like I was in a really bad state. But I was like, you know what, I'll just take it from where I am, and I'll just submit this self-tape. And then within 2 days, I receive an email from my agent saying, hey, they want to put you on a fail, and they're very interested. And it was like the casting director's email forwarded to me. And from the moment that I received it, I was like, no way, I cannot get this. And this was like the biggest thing that I've ever auditioned for, the biggest thing that I actually like received, interest into me from. And I was like, and it's like, yeah, it was like a big thing for me, and I was like, from the moment that I received it, I was like, no way, this can't be. And in my head, I had all of these excuses and all of these like limiting beliefs of why I couldn't be the one to actually get that role, and then 2 days later,
yourself of why you didn't get, why you shouldn't,
why I didn't deserve it, basically. Yeah. You know me, but like that sounds strange, but that's what you at all. Right. But that was actually a thing. It used to be a thing for me, and I had to work through that. But then 2 days later, I received an email saying that that's it, they're booking me, and it was a very fast turnout. And they were shooting like the next week, and they were like, it was still when we needed to do tests, COVID tests and stuff like that. And they were like, we're going to reach out within 2 days to schedule a COVID test, And still, they're like, congratulations, you're booked. We're looking forward to having you, the whole thing, right? And it's a lead role in a commercial, a funny one at that, with lines. And it was like the biggest thing ever for me. And even then, I was like, no way. That's a mistake. That's me. I am an immigrant. I have an accent. There's no way they're booking me for a mattress firm, for a nationally wide chain of mattress, the whole like sleep company. There's no way. And it was everything. Well, guess what? That's how sabotage works.
Yeah.
2 days later, I come up with a really bad fever and it turns out to be COVID. Minded. I did not get sick. I hadn't been sick for 4.5 years to that moment. Prior to that moment, I was the healthiest I've ever been in my whole life.
Yeah, so life was just like, okay, fine. You don't want this?
Yeah, you don't want it? You don't think you deserve it? Sure, we're going to take it from you.
Get out of here.
So
I
sure
really
enough,
am still enthralled by the fact that you even convinced yourself of that. I'm hearing words that I don't think I would have ever heard from you ever. So
because they stayed in here.
Yeah.
I was not conscious about them. They stayed in here. So with me getting sick, and I was really bad, and it like affected me so drastically. I mean, I was sick for a couple of days, but like it affected me to the point where I lost half of my hair. Yeah, COVID. But the point is, back then, I realized it very clearly that it was a sabotage, that it's the limiting beliefs in my head that I needed to do something about that if I wanted to move forward. So when we talk about all of these blocks that are happening with people, with creatives especially, you know, that's what we need to be mindful about, because the abundance of absolutely everything, resources, money, which is also a resource, people, which is also a resource, creativity, ideas, anything that you need to create something or do something with your life, it's available for everybody out there, you know. But the only thing that limits us from actually receiving that and using that or seeing it, for that matter, is the blocks that are in my head, kind of like that, you know. So I realized that I had that, and I was like, shit, that's me doing that to me, you know. And I suffered greatly for that. And then they shot without me, because when I sent them my positive test, they just stopped replying. It's a quick turnaround. That's what happens with commercials. Yeah, they got somebody else, and they're like that, you know, they stopped replying to me and my agent. So, which is fine. It's okay. I get it. Like I understand the stakes.
Sure, but at the same time, it does make you reflect on your previous thought process easily.
Oh yeah, greatly. So I sort of set myself onto the path of figuring out how to get rid of that, because I understood that was not me. You know, I clearly understood that it was not me. It was not my thoughts, you know. I mean, yeah, it was my thoughts. What I'm saying is that I learned that somewhere, because deep down I know I am whole, I am complete, and I deserve the best things in my life. But at that moment, some kind of a narration affected that and sort of blocked that abundance of thought to come through, you know. I actually got lucky, because within a couple of weeks I ended up going to this sort of like a workshop that this psychologist did on money. And then during that workshop, she talked about the private sessions and working with clients on privately sort of rewriting those limited beliefs, whether it's relationships, money, success, career, really anything, because it's all in NLP. It's all like psychologically explained, you know. And then I asked her how much it was, and she said $600 to just for 2 sessions, which will be plenty to go, and then to like work through it. And I was like, well, shit, I don't have that money. Where am I? So I couldn't do it right away, because I didn't have money, you know, and I was barely getting by. And then within probably like 4 to 5 months, I was putting money away aside just for that. Yeah, and I was able to,
It does sound worthwhile, honestly.
Oh yeah, I was like, I need it.
For sure.
Turned out we're kind of from the same area. Yeah, originally her and I were from back home. We're from Russia. Yeah. She grew up in a small village, but she's been to my town many times and she knows all about it. And like, I've passed through her village on the way to our state capital multiple times. And it's like it's funny. It's like a full circle moment. And in any case, I was able to work with her on rewriting all of those beliefs and stuff. And it was a very interesting process. She created these tapes that I recorded, like she created a script for me with like affirmations basically that were sort of contradicting my beliefs. And then we created these these tape. There were two tapes. One was a tape that I worked with during the day, and then there was another tape that I slept with in my ears. I was just listening. So it was part NLP. Yeah, it was like repeated. She created this really, really cool tape that had it was my voice recording of those affirmations plus the like these like hypnotherapy like music, and then like different tracks, and then it was all kind of like layered and interwoven, and it's like it was very interesting. It was very interesting. But in any case, within a week of me working with her, I booked four commercials, and the money just started pouring, just changing completely. And right now, a year later, I'm in a completely different place, and I feel like I definitely don't have that block anymore. Like right now, with good years, I'm actually planning to raise money. And this is something that I'm learning from this course that I got, which is also like another thing. I'm now able to afford the expensive producing course, which before I wouldn't be able to pay for, but right now I'm like, okay, I want to grow and money's going to come. So I now have a clear understanding that money is just energy and it needs to keep on circulating, So I am putting up, actually I have a meeting with Michelle today, and we're going to talk about funding. We're going to talk about crowdfunding and creating the whole, thing so that we can raise money so we can actually pay for good festivals, not just something cheap that we can afford, and like the whole, because this project deserves it. People who have been working on this project like you, Avery, we all deserve this, because people, let me tell you, we waited 4 years to actually watch what we had because we were afraid. Both Michelle and I were scared shitless to actually watch that thing, but we were both sitting here in my living room watching that movie, and we're like, fuck, we did, like, how?
I don't know what more you needed than my word that it was excellent. When I was editing it, I was like, it's excellent. Watch it.
It is so damn good. The picture, the acting, the story.
Everything was excellent about it.
It's just amazing.
Was excellent. There was not a moment where I was watching it where I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It all felt good. And just a little side story before Anna gets back into to everything. I handed it to her like right after I'd completed my export of the full film. And she told me she was going home to watch it then.
That was what? That was like 4 years ago, 3 years ago?
2019.
Oh, hello, people.
Yeah. That was in 2019, just crossing over to 2020. And here we are. And 2 weeks ago, she watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
And like I was telling her from the beginning, it is just as beautiful as she was hoping it would be.
So amazing.
Excellent job shooting it. They did an excellent job writing it. She did an excellent job producing it. And now
you did an excellent job editing it.
Oh, I know that. No, just joking.
No, you're not. Yes. Take it. That. You've got to accept this because this is true.
I was thoroughly invested in editing this project. When I started editing it, by the time I got to that second scene, I was like, I want to make this one of the best editing jobs I've done. So I want to make it the best so far because the story is so beautiful. And
it is so good, yeah.
So like I just had to throw it out there that one of the most bold people I know, this woman right here, absolutely, yeah, I'm talking about you, absolutely was deterred from watching this film for fears that until just now, I couldn't fathom. I just could not understand why she would not watch it, but
It was a lot.
and I do appreciate that you finally came around to that. But yeah, I just had
Yeah.
there.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. And for those who are watching, if there's one thing that you take away from this conversation, it's this. Even if you have something that you never completed from years ago, it's never too late to actually go and complete it.
Yes,
And you can just go and do it.
that is very
Fears and all, just go, just walk into that fear, because you will come out of it feeling so much better about yourself, about your life, and where you are headed. You're going to learn so much out of it. Just go and do it. It's freaking scary. Let me tell you.
it can be for
It
sure.
kept me up at night. That's how scared I was to watch it. That's how I scared was to actually accept the fact that I never completed it, that I never like took the time, or that there's so many people who were a part of it that sort of depend on me taking the steps to actually complete it. And I just felt the weight of that responsibility, and it was scary, and it felt really bad. But hey, you got to do it, and it's never too late. It's never too late.
It's not too late, never too late at all. There's actually some merit, significant merit in coming back to a project, even if you have to reshoot it and you like just have the energy that you had the first time around. There is something special about coming back to a project and finishing it the second time around or the third time around, fourth time around. Just come back to
Mhm.
a lot of people stand in their way of completing things, and I think the biggest regret is not finishing it for sure. Uh,
Yeah, that's definitely the fact. It's the facts.
I think that's the thing that lingers in my head the most. I'm just like I don't want to do a project. I don't want to start a project and not finish it. Even though
Mhm.
the web series didn't work out right then, I absolutely plan to at least shoot the first episode. I want to shoot the first episode to at least say that I started it, you know. But with my narrative films, especially, I'm just like, I'm always going to come back to them. Ashes of the Phoenix took 7 years. I did that. Aimless, the film that I'm doing right now currently, we shot that during quarantine, and we're just now getting to a point of completion with the editing. But
And that's fine. You gotta take it one step at a time. Because yeah, we might not have the experience and the resources that, AMPTP might have. We don't, the studios, right? But that's fine. One day you'll get to the point where you will have resources to get a feature film done within 6 months. One day, but you got to get there. Before you get there, there's things that need to be done, you know, before you walk out of the door in the morning. There are things that need to be done. You got to brush your teeth, you got to pour yourself a cup of coffee, and you got to brush your hair.
yeah,
There's
the
things that
little
need to be
steps.
done, little steps, and it doesn't have to be grand.
You're right. You're right. And a lot of people don't think about that. It's just okay.
Hmm.
One of my favorite things, and I know there's a whole book around this. And don't worry, I know you're short on time, so I'll
No,
be
I mean, yeah, well, I have a couple more
okay. Don't worry, it won't be
minutes, a few more minutes.
long.
Not a
But
few more, but there's like, oh, this watch is off.
it's rush hour starting, so like things getting busy.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so there's a book that I do intend to read, but I've heard the high points of it that makes that stuck with me significantly. Called "Make Your Bed." Is "Make Your Bed," and I know you'll definitely appreciate this one if you ever
I
think.
think I know. I think I've heard of the book, but yeah, go ahead.
So basically, the book is capitalizing on the idea that when you wake up in the morning, a lot of it's said that a lot of billionaires, most billionaires, make their beds in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if they're billionaires, they have someone make their bed at the when they were coming up, they made their beds every morning.
Yeah.
That one step does a lot for the rest of your day
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
make your bed, you are very unlikely to mess it up again to jump back in. You
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
are way more likely to stay alert, stay focused on being productive, even if you
Mm-hmm.
have to sit in your room all day.
Mm-hmm.
Making your bed is that first step. And like
Yeah.
making your bed, all these little things that you do throughout the day are just all extensions of
Mm-hmm.
being better towards your ultimate goal. So
Yeah.
just have to throw that in, but it's not often that you think about the
Mm-hmm.
smaller steps in the
Mm-hmm.
process of, oh, I want to write a script, or oh, I want to shoot this film this week, or whatever. Start with the little things like making your
Mm-hmm.
bed, or making sure that you uh, answer your emails every day. I don't know, just
Yeah.
an array of things, but all of them are very important.
Yeah. Yeah. And you feel accomplished. You
Yes.
have you have accomplished something. If nothing else actually moves the needle for you in a kind of bigger scheme of things, you've made your bed. That's already done.
That is a
You
start.
know,
That
that's
a
a
lot of
start.
people
Yeah.
never do.
And I like the example of everything everywhere all at once. It took them 12 years to complete that movie.
Really?
12 years. They were talking about that, yeah, when they were receiving all of their 11 Oscars.
11 Oscars for 12 years.
Pretty much, right? Well, I didn't think about it. They were nominated for 12 Oscars, but
Oh,
they got 11.
11
So,
12 years. That's crazy. I didn't know that, but
yeah,
I believe it.
everything takes time, and
The
it just
Daniels
it
definitely they've come a long way from what I mean, from where they started.
mhm.
Like to see that they did that film.
That
Uh,
was A24 film, wasn't it?
it was an A24 film, but it was
Yeah.
directed by the music video Turn Down for What? Dun, 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 dun,
I know
dun.
the song, but I don't I
You know the song though, right?
sorry. I just want to hear you sing it again.
Turn down for what? Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I know the song. I grew
The
up listening
guys
to
who never, well, I was gonna say, I know you know the song. There's no way you don't know the song. But the guys who directed the music video for it
it. Mm.
actually directed Everywhere,
Hmm.
uh, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think,
Yes,
yeah. But
that's the name.
either way, just to come from where they came from, shooting that film, uh, to what they accomplished is it says everything about tenacity and like real
Mhm.
dedication to your craft.
Dedication and dedication to taking a step.
Hmm. Because that's a huge leap from where they started. Absolutely. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, and I know that's where you're headed, without a doubt. I can say without a shadow of doubt, of a doubt. Uh, take two. I can say without a shadow of a doubt. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that you and Michelle are definitely headed in the right direction. I know you're a little more ambitious, and you kind of like keep things on the rails, production wise, but you're both very talented, and
Thank you.
I know that whatever happens with this project is going to be substantial, even
Thank
if it
you.
just leads to getting attention for making more projects.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And I want to create a community of people who like this, who people who like watching something that's different from what's being force fed to us through like Netflix and Prime and like Hulu and the whole thing. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's a lot of cookie cutter stuff.
Ex- Exactly, we have created a generation of people
Hmm.
who accept that. It's just like that's
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
just mediocrity. Mediocrity
Hmm.
is what we encourage today more than anything. And it's
Hmm.
like, of course, they're going to spend less money and produce mediocrity if people will watch it, but we have to make that standard high again. And I think
Right.
that is
Right.
what we aim to do. That is what
Hmm.
creators like you and I aim to do every day. We just need the right platforms. So, I mean,
I actually was thinking today that, well, since I've been thinking that since yesterday, that, when we talk about indie films, one of the important thing to actually consider is the fact, like, who are we making those films for? You know? Because people, what do we like to watch? We like to watch things that we can see ourselves in.
Relate to.
Um, so, sort of like a character, and things that hypothetically, feed some kind of an emotion in us. For instance, like gosh, I have this strange sort of need to feel this feeling of longing, this very deep-seated um depression, borderline like depression type of a feeling. Like, I'm a very cheerful person, I love all of life, and I accept all the hard things that come in, and I'm okay. Like, it's not, but there's this feeling that I want to feel, almost to kind of like that adrenaline that I want to feel. I want to feel that feeling. And I like movies. I like watching movies like that. Like for instance, The Favorite. Have you seen that movie?
Favorite.
It's about
That takes
Queen
place in the Baroque
Elizabeth.
period or something, or
It's what?
takes
Sorry.
place in like the Baroque period or something.
I mean, is it Baroque? It's Queen Elizabeth
Yeah.
something. But it's like you're
gotta be like-
watching that movie. It's kind of like Cruel Intentions too. They're equally weird. Like, you're just watching the movie and you're like, I don't freaking understand what I'm watching. It's like a lot, and then the music and the whole scene and just the mood of it is so strange, but you can't stop watching it. And even after the movie is done, you're like, the fuck?
It does
Bizarre
cut.
Huh?
It does seem like a bizarre cut. Like,
right? And then, but then, like, I need this, I like that. I want that. And actually going through that and experiencing that through art like that, or through music, it helps me avoid that in my life, strangely enough. I actually did discuss that with, well, not that, but like a different type of an emotion, or like a part of my life, me like in drama. I'm like, I need to, she's like, you need to sort of get drama out somewhere else, maybe like in your craft, so that you have less drama in your personal life.
We all wish that it was that simple.
Right, but it actually is, and I'm sort of trying to learn how to do that. But I understand, like, with this sort of this feeling of longing for something, this like almost like aching feeling of, oh, I need something, but I like don't know what it, like, it's like this weird limbo of emotions. It allows me to be more present and more cheerful in my life, because I have an outlet for that feeling. There's actually an artist, a Russian artist. Whenever I like share her music with somebody else, people are like, ugh, I just want to cut my veins. Like, this is so bad. Like, wow, how do you listen to it? She talks about dying and like God, and like it's just so strange. Yeah.
I ain't God.
Yeah, like, what if God doesn't exist? Or like, I have this,
I was
like, but then at the same time, she's like, oh, like, I wanna, I have this longing to like leave this world, and like it's very moody, and I listen to it and like I just scratch that itch. That's it, And as I listen to it, actually makes me more present and more cheerful and more like appreciating the world. I know, it's so strange.
Whoa,
it is so strange.
Dark.
Yeah, it's dark. Like, her music, that's the word. That's a really good word. Her music is very dark.
I mean, but you're saying that it's the music scratched an itch for you.
Yeah, it does.
You dark.
Oh yeah, I mean, we all have that.
We all for sure. And I'm not.
Some people go into depression and, God forbid, suicide and the whole thing, and it's a big thing. But like, we all go, like I said, we all come here to experience all of life, but we have different ways of doing that.
Yes.
And I might get canceled for that, but like, that's Suicide is part of that, and it's we all go through all of this in like different paths. That's how I see it.
I
Like
think
that
that's
dark music for me, you know.
biggest takeaway of the evening, for sure. That is
Which one?
the what we're here for, and like how we do things differently. I like that. I really like that.
Right, because people think we're just come here just to go through the motion, you know, go to school, graduate high school, go get married, and
Go
then
to work.
bear kids, and then just the whole thing, you know. But that's not why we come here.
Your decisions in life are valid. Everyone's decisions in life are valid, but
100%.
not our only purpose.
Exactly.
If
Exactly.
you decide that it is your only purpose and you enjoy it, then great. But if you decide that it is your only purpose and you don't enjoy it, then that probably means there's something more for you out there, and you should explore that.
Exactly. And every single path that you take, whatever the decision you make of how you want to explore it, is going to lead you through whatever you need to go through. But there's no right or wrong, you know. And it's, again, like it's such a bigger topic too, because it's not just surface level. There's, you know, the generational sort of things and changes kind of go into play. Like my mom has a lot of trouble with me being, you know, not traditional, and like she always thought that it's like, I mean, that's part of my culture too. Like you have to, you know, have kids. You have to be married to a man by the age of like 21 and have 3 kids by the age of 24. Like you just have to go through those things. But that have to comes from their survival.
Exactly.
During their time. And that's what they learn. But we live in a different time right now. This is complete, like the world that we live in is completely different. You know? We are like, as millennials, we're going through our own difficulties, and the children that are being born right now, to those who actually want them, not because they think that they have to have them.
They have to, exactly. They're gonna have.
Yeah, they're gonna go through their own things, and that's the whole thing. Except in that 60 years later, we live in a completely different world. Shocker.
I wish people. It's so obvious. It's so obvious, but like people don't even want to take the time to acknowledge how obvious that is. Like, especially,
and the fact that we're all different as well. Like that's part of it too.
Oh,
we're all different. We're all on different paths.
The person has their own unique design. Why do you think at any point your thing is going to be the same as anyone else's, including your parents?
Exactly.
Like that's
love and acceptance, people. We gotta love and accept everybody.
Exactly.
Just you don't have to love them like being present with them, but you can be like, okay, you're weird. I love you. You do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing. That's also love.
Exactly. There is another form of love is just respecting that someone exists and leaving them alone. Like that is a huge problem we have right now, is people not just accepting the fact that there are other people who do different things, who aren't harming anyone, and they can't mind their own business.
Yeah.
Why don't you just mind your business and just let someone live? That is a form of appreciation and love for your fellow human being. You do not like what they do, but as long as they're not harming anyone else, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know. So, oh gosh, this is great.
I really enjoyed the conversation.
This has been really fun. Let's see. I want to see if there's a way I can like kind of round it off with like maybe some. I mean, because you gave us some really good takeaway words, but I want to know if like basically you feel like there's anything you want to say.
Right. Well, I mean, this conversation that we just had is a handful already. Not a lot of people are going to be like, not everybody is going to be like, oh, this is shit. No, they're going to be like, this is shit. Yeah. Yeah, but hey, like I am, that's how I am. I go deep into different things, and I go deep into understanding of, things that are happening and happening in my life, and why I do certain things the way that I do it, and just human nature and things like that. If you guys like that, if you liked learning more about that, you can check out my podcast.
I was going along. I already knew where you were going, so I was just pointing at you. I was saying, go to her podcast.
Oh, I'm like, because you're okay. No, I'm like, where are you pointing? Because you're on the left of me, and then you're pointing left.
Are you seeing me pointing in the opposite direction?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I should be doing this.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if that's how people are. This is so funny.
Oh, yeah,
This is so funny. You're like, and I'm like, what's happening? Yeah. I'm like, are you telling me to look into the camera? I thought I was.
I'm pointing right now. I'm pointing at her. And
you're pointing at my camera, but I'm on the other side.
Camera. I'm pointing at her video. And I agree that if that's something you want about, please go.
Hey, we're people. We're just regular people over here.
Just dealing with technology.
Dealing with technology before it deals with us. But yeah, if this is something that you guys enjoy having these conversations, actually this is why I have a podcast, because I like talking about those topics, and I like going deep and kind of like unpacking things. So I have a podcast. It's called Ana's Podcast. My friends call me Ana, and this is just me having conversations with my friends, which you guys are. So you can check out. We're gonna link it in the description of this video.
In the description of the video, and I'm gonna put it in the actual video itself. So yes, please check out Ana, and I will be having her back here as this thing develops from what it is right now. It's baby stage.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. Also, yeah, that's what I also wanted to say, that if you guys feel like you want to join on the fun with us producing the good years and having it see the light of day, and if you want to just join into helping it come out, stay tuned. Follow me on my Instagram, because there's going to be information that's going to be coming about our crowdfunding campaign, and we're going to be posting information there. Do we have a page? I'm not too sure if we have a separate page for good years. I'm not sure if it's needed at this point. But you can follow me. You can definitely follow me on Instagram, and as the information comes, as we have the platform set up, I'm definitely going to be sharing that information. So if you want to join, if you feel like you're excited to see what we're talking about, then just come follow me, and then I'll keep you guys updated on that. And I'm happy to have you there too. Yeah.
That will also be in the description too. Once it comes out, I'll just re-edit the.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Wonderful.
But also, just a suggestion. If you don't have your page yet, you should create a second Instagram page for your production company.
Good years. Oh, for my production company?
Yeah.
I need to do it.
Follow it, but you should create one for your production company.
I haven't registered it. It's still up in the air.
You don't have to. Okay. Years ago existed 10 years before I registered it. So just create a name and start putting stuff out there, and then create an email for it, and then create an Instagram for it, and connect it to your main page. And that way, you can just switch back and forth between the two pages and post stuff on the. Is it still going to be Mars?
Yeah.
Is it Life on Mars Productions, and switch back and forth between your page and Mars. And you can
I should do that.
In the updates about the what do you call it, and you can connect it to your personal page, so that your personal page's audience will see the post about the what do you call it without it being posted to your personal page.
How does it work?
Get in on this social media. I'm telling you, it's like marketing central. It's crazy. I'll show you everything. Don't worry, I'll show you everything.
Okay.
We'll talk about. We'll find a time this week to talk about how to set this.
Yeah. Up. Okay.
I'm
excited.
Please support Good Years Ana follow her page. All the information is right here. And I promise I won't interrupt anymore. I will let you have the last bit here.
I'm done.
Yeah, okay. That's it. Purely in.
I said it all. No, thank you. I really appreciate this. We've been friends for so many years at this point, and I always love conversing with you. And I just think you're such a brilliant person that people should join in on this fun as well. The fun that's Avery Carlton Fields, because you're an awesome dude.
And so are you. You're awesome.
I'm an awesome dude. I'm telling you.
You're an awesome dude.
Cool,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking to you as well, Anna, and I'm glad we finally got to do this. So
Yes.
With that being said, thank you again for joining me on my.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's an honor, and I look forward to doing this again very, very soon.
Yep. We will. We gotta have an update.
We do. We have that. Yes, we'll update you with what happens with years and the rest of the projects.